It's another interesting episode of Labor Lens where we bring to you updates information in the world of work and pay. I am Sharon Ijason. This week we will continue on our special edition on the plight of workers here in Kaduna State. But before we continue, let's take a short break. We will be right back. The Kaduna State wing of the Nigerian Union of Teachers has directed its members to commence indefinite strike over the sack of 21,780 public primary school teachers in the state. Teachers in the state were sacked for allegedly failing to score 75% pass mark of the competency test organized by the state government in June 2017. The union executive stated in a release that the state government has begun issuing sack letters to affected teachers after the Christmas and New Year holiday. These members of the three non-academic unions of Nigerian universities, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, NASU, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the National Association of Academic Technologists of UNILAG. The chairpersons of the three unions led their members to picket strategic places in the institution to ensure that the strike was effective. They are demanding full implementation of an agreement reached with the federal government in 2009. After an emergency NEC meeting, members of the union said the strike was triggered by the sharing formula approved by the federal government in respect of the 23 billion recently released to universities as earned allowance. They are unhappy the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, got most of the money released, and they are calling for the immediate removal of Labour Minister Chris Ngige.
Our resolution is to demand, number one, to demand for the removal of the Minister of Labour and Productivity. It's not competent, Dr. Chris Ngige is not competent to handle that position, that portfolio. And we are calling the federal government to remove him with immediate effect. I have never seen a situation whereby the federal government will release money to union. What they have done is to release that money to the institutions. Then the institution will now call the four union and the modalities and the template how to distribute the money among the members of staff. The federal government have committed a very serious blunder.
As I'm talking to you now, everything in UNILAG has been paralyzed. Everywhere has been shut down. There is no electricity, there is no water supply. I don't see a reasonable human being sitting down inside darkness when there is no light. And I don't see a reasonable human being going to the toilet where there is no water. So therefore, this point in time, we should be resolute.
Though the strike has been effective for more than 2 weeks, there has been little or no response from the authorities. In the quest to protect the jobs of teachers in Kaduna State, the Nigerian Labour Congress took the issue of the imminent mass sack to the National Industrial Court to determine whether the state government had the mandate to conduct competency tests for teachers, and on what ground can teachers be sacked in the state. The National Industrial Court of Nigeria Cardinal Division recently altered the planned sack of 21,780 primary school teachers who failed a competency test organized by the state government and adjourned the case to February 6, 2018. Although the government has vowed not to follow the court order, I spoke with some teachers in the state who pleaded that their identities be protected. They spoke about their welfare and current standard of living.
Where resources are not there, there are no facilities, a lot of discouragement, there are irregular payment of salary, irregular promotion. Even when you are promoted, you just be holding the paper at hand without implementation. But we are not bothered about that. We are bothered about helping this generation with the skills God have given us through impacting sound skills, knowledge. And today someone will come out to declare us incompetent.
I look upon me from one thing or the other.
For Zainab Malik, who teach in a rural community in Kaduna State, she tells me she had to go by boat and fear that a teacher who is not ready to make sacrifices can't teach in such schools.
I've been teaching for I guess 7 years now. And all the time I've been teaching, I've been posted to a remote area. I just taught in the town, I guess not up to a year. So all this while I've been in a remote area, it has not been easy. Presently, the school I am teaching now, every day I had to spend like 500 naira through and through. Then the first place I was transferred to, I had to stay there because I cannot go and come back. I'm not able to make it. So it has not been easy. And this 500 I spent every day, I had to go to work for like 5 days in a week. And that's about 22,500 naira every week. So if they pay my salary, I had to like remove like 10,000 naira from my transport. I will not be able to make it. And when we were writing these exams, I believe I was dedicated and I was ready to write the exams. The questions they asked were not questions that were too difficult for me that I would not be able to pass the exams. And that's why I believe that I did not fail that exam. That score that was given me, it wasn't mine.
Labour leaders also made comments about a number of communities that may lack teachers if the government goes ahead with the planned sack in the state.
These teachers that you are saying they are incompetent are these same teachers that have been teaching for the past 20-something, 30 years. You understand me? They have agreed to manage that little resources, even in their locality. We shouldn't sit down under a comfort zone and assume that every teacher is comfortable just because you are working within the metropolis. There are schools in this state that ordinarily, if you get there, you begin to imagine a human being living in such an environment. If you go to such an environment, you will meet teachers that have decided to localize and have remained there to be teaching these peoples. How many of these young ones that the government is thinking of recruiting that can be able to sacrifice their luxury? Let me use the word luxury. Their luxury possibly in their parents' house, possibly in the cities, and go to remote villages. And they will remain there to teach and earn the meager amount of salary that they are being paid.
There are so many things wrong with our educational system, and we know. And if we are to do a job, we are supposed to do a holistic kind of job, whereas all parts, not only taking the teachers. Teachers are just one aspect. What about the infrastructure? What about the buildings? What about the remuneration? What about so many things that have to do with education, even the community itself? What about the parent teachers? These are issues that if you are going to revamp education, you must take into cognizance all those things. If you take one aspect, the teachers, and now you've said the teachers are not competent, and now you are bringing the same school that graduated the teachers that you are saying are not competent are the same school that have graduated the ones you are now going to take on board. So what are you doing in essence? And while we are saying this, we have discussed with government, we have sat down, and we saw that government is actually not sincere. Because if there is sincerity, then government should have done what is expected of it, give it to the people that the law says they should do it. You cannot be a judge in your own case.
I came across some exclusive pictures of which respondents claim they were taken during the competency test examination. It depicted some teachers writing the examinations under harsh conditions, while others were posted to places far away from their base. While teachers lament poor and irregular pay of salaries, they also insist that they have not passed through trainings in a long time. In a swift reaction, the permanent member State Universal Basic Education Board SUBEB in Kaduna State, Shehu Sani, says the newly recruited teachers will start teaching between February and March. He also added that amongst the more than 20,000 teachers who will be sacked, about 13,000 teachers reapplied.
The plan for now is that they will be served with their termination letter. Some will be terminated while others will be retired. Most of them will be retired. And those that will be retired will be served with their letters for the 3 months in lieu of notice, which is going to end by February or March. Then, by then, we must have finished processing those that will be employed, and we'll just replace them. Because we don't want to leave the schools vacant. We want a situation whereby it's going to be simultaneously. While these ones are going, this one will now come in and take their place. So that is what we are planning now.
For many of the teachers who could not make 75% in the competency test, there are so many questions begging for answers. Labour leaders on the part remains resolute in their view that the only approved body authorized to conduct competency tests for teachers in Nigeria is the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria.
Teachers are very important because from the grassroots we will get a very qualitative, education. That is why you see the number of people send their children to private schools to have a standard foundation. But the government of nowadays, even most of the governors, I'm sorry to say, most of the governors, most of our leaders say they are not qualified. They are not qualified in the base of their education. You will see some people, even the way a consultant in English, he cannot even sound English. A leader cannot do that. That is why we are seeing a problem like this. But the way our government is doing on teacher presently, it's not the best. The situation that we are facing in this government, this is not the right time for them to sack teachers.
Yes, because they are like a foundation to the people. Because most of our governors are present without teachers. I don't think they will be there.
Let me tell you, without a teacher, no nation. Even El-Rufai attended government school. Buhari attended government school. All those top officials attended government school. But Nigeria government neglected primary school teachers. I don't know why. Without a teacher, there's no nation.
Government just have to declare emergency in education sector, right? Because if you look at the ugly trend, for Nigerian youths to be able to compete and excel in a global system where knowledge is prized, we just have to look for competent teachers to take the institution to the next horizon.